Hey, hi everybody. So once again I am Manik from the channel Literature Study at Home. I welcome you back. So today our discussion will be on a very important theory, and that is feminism. I think most of you are waiting for this topic. As you know, feminism is a kind of socio-political movement that aimed at establishing and achieving equal rights and opportunities for women across various spheres of their life. So it has evolved through several waves, and each characterized by distinct goals, methods, and their key figures relating to it. So before going to these waves of feminism, let us find out the historical framework. The roots of feminism can be traced back to various movements and writings about history. Throughout the years, although it formally began in the late 18th or early 19th century, early feminism was influenced by the concept of enlightenment, which emphasized reason, individualism, and the pursuit of equality. If you try to find out the major goals of enlightenment, first I would say that legal equality. So their aim was to advocate for laws that provide equal rights for women and men. There are plenty of efforts to eliminate legal and systematic discrimination throughout the years. For the second goal, I may say that economic equality. Closing the gender pay gap, ensuring equal access to job opportunities and promotions, and apart from these, addressing unpaid labor often performed by women, such as domestic work and caregiving to the child and the elders of the family. Then the third may be educational equality. This is major. Promoting equal access to education for all genders. By doing this, they will address gender biases in curricula and educational practices. The fourth major goal is reproductive rights, ensuring their access to contraception and legal shape abortion. Promoting comprehensive sex education is also another goal. And then we can say that end of gender-based violation or the violence was the aim of them. Just like combating domestic violence, sexual assault, harassment. For these, providing support service to those even who are, raped, harassed physically. And most importantly for nowadays, for the digital media representation, increasing the representation of women violence in politics, business, and other leadership goals, and also promoting women's participation in decision-making processes, all the levels throughout the history. Now let's try to find out what are the major types or the diverse areas within feminism. First comes liberal feminism. What is it? It focuses on achieving gender equality through political and legal reform within the current system. This feminism emphasizes individual rights and equal opportunities. Then come radical feminism. They seek to fundamentally change societal structure and perpetuate patriarchy and gender inequality. They emphasize the need to address and dismantle systematic power imbalances. This was the third point, that is Marxist or social feminism. It links gender inequality to capitalist exploitation. It advocates for a socialist system that ensures economic and social equality. Then it will come like The fourth one, cultural materialism, sorry, it's not cultural feminism rather. So it celebrates women's unique qualities and their contributions. Here, this kind of feminism promotes the values of traditionally feminine traits and experiences. Another most important type is intersectional feminism. It highlights how various forms of oppression, just like race, class, sexuality, ability, etc., intersect with gender. So this type of feminism advocates for an inclusive approach that addresses multiple dimensions of inequality. Now the very recent concept that is called ecofeminism. Okay, so this type of feminism connects the exploitation of women with the exploitation of the environment. So here they advocate for sustainability and social justice. Now let's come to the waves of feminism. First wave feminism. It began around late 19th century and it continued till early 20th century. So as you know, this term, the first wave, was applied retroactively the year 1960s. So this wave arose during a time when industrial societies and liberal politics were gaining a ground for them. Women began to question their roles in society and their lack of rights. They are questioning. And the motive of the first wave feminism was like that the primary aim for them was that to open up opportunities for women with a focus on their suffrage, that is the right of vote. And key issues included like legal inequality, particularly rather the right to vote, property rights and access to higher education were their major demand. So for that first wave feminism, we have the writing like A Vindication for the Rights of Women, written by Mary Wollstonecraft in 1792. It is considered one of the earliest works of feminist philosophy and is often associated with the first wave feminism. So apart from Mary Wollstonecraft, there are other few activists rather. Emmeline Pankhurst, one of them. She was the founder of the Women's Social and Political Union in the UK, which was known for its militant tactics to gain public attention for the suffrage movement. Apart from those, we have Sojourner Truth. She was an African-American abolitionist and women's rights activist, and she was known for her speech, Ain't I a Woman? It was delivered in 1851. So this was about the first wave. Now comes the second wave feminism, which comes around 1960s and it continued until 1980s. The term second wave feminism became prominent in the 1960s. So this period was marked by the civil rights movement and a burgeoning counterculture. Their motive actually was to focus on a wider range of issues, just like including sexuality, family, the workplace, reproductive rights, and official legal inequalities. They sought to challenge and also overturn the societal norms and structures that perpetuated gender inequality. So if you try to find out the major activists of the second wave feminism, first comes Betty Friedan. Her work, The Feminine Mystic, it was published around 1963 probably. It's credited with sparking the second wave. She co-founded the National Organization for Women now in 1966. Next, most important activist, Simone de Beauvoir, French existentialist, philosopher and author of The Second Sex, published in 1949, which was provided a detailed analysis of women's oppression. Then comes Angela Davis. She was also an activist, scholar, and author who addressed the intersections of race, class, gender, and she was involved in the civil rights and black power movements. So this is the second wave. Now come the third wave of feminism that comes around 1990s, and it continued till that 2010s. Okay, the term third wave was popularized by Rebecca Walker in her 1992 essay, signaling a shift in feminist thought and activism. This wave emerged in response to perceived shortcomings of the second wave. It particularly focuses on the experiences of the middle class white women. So their aim was to primarily emphasize on issues of identity, sexuality, and the diversity of women's experiences. Most importantly, they stressed the earlier thing, that is intersectionality, exploring how race, class, gender, and sexuality intersect in systems of oppression. So here the most prominent figure is also Rebecca Walker. So she is a writer and activist who is often credited with initiating the third wave through her essay Becoming the Third. So keep remember, this is very important for your upcoming exams. Now next figure, next activist is Kimberly Crenshaw. She was also an legal scholar who coined the term intersectionality to describe how different forms of discrimination overlap and intersect. Now there is a movement that is called Riot Girl movement. It was an underground feminist punk movement that addressed issues like sexual violence, body image, and female empowerment. Now the last but not the least, actually, fourth wave feminism. So it started arising around 2012 and it continuing. Okay, so the term fourth wave emerged around 2012. Yeah, often associated with the rise of digital technology and social media. So this wave has been influenced by the global nature of the internet and increased visibility of feministic issues. So this fourth wave feminism in a motive to focus on combating sexual harassment, body shaming, rape culture, and other forms of gender-based violence. So this wave of feminism utilizes social media platforms for activism. They emphasize intersectionality and inclusivity. So here the prominent activists like Thunberg, yeah. So she was an activist who founded the Me Too movement in 2006. So which gained global recognition in 2017. Now the next activist was Emma Watson. She was an activist, an actress, and even women goodwill ambassador who launched He for She campaign to engage men in the fight for gender inequality. Okay, gender equality rather. Now, next, Pakistani education activist Malala Yousafzai, and she is Nobel laureate who advocates for the girls' education not only in Pakistan, throughout the world. And apart from there is a budding African writer, Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. So Nigerian writer whose work and speeches such as "We should all be feminist" have had a significant impact on contemporary feminist thought. I hope these concepts were beneficial to you. Hopefully it is working for you, and if it is working, do comment. I will be very much happy to listen your comment. Thank you.